Hi everyone. Welcome to week 6 of your technical math course. This week we're going to be covering chapter 7. Chapter 7 is all about percents. So we're going to look at percents and how they relate to fractions and decimals. We're going to look at the percent proportion. It's an actual equation that you're going to use to solve and the applications for that. We're going to look at an actual percent equation, and then we're going to look at several different types of applications. So things like sales tax and commission, discounts, markups, percents of increase, percents of decrease, simple and compound interest. So all of the things at the end of the chapter are all just applications of percents. So the first thing you have to know is, what is a percent? A percent is actually defined as per hundred. So when you hear percent, you need to know that that means per hundred. So if something is 55%, that means there's 55 out of 100. So the first topic then is to convert percents to fractions. So like I just said, we are going to, replace the percent symbol by times 1 over 100 or by dividing by 100. So really what you're doing is changing it to a fraction, putting it in lowest terms. So the easiest thing I think to do is just to put it over 100. So if you've got 2%, that means 2 over 100. If you've got 0.6%, it's 0.6 over 100. And then whatever you get, you're going to simplify. So reducing the fraction. So there's several examples here. Here's one example, 56%. And, like I said, they're going to show you these steps where they took the percent sign away. They replaced it with times 1 over 100. So you get 56 over 100. So what I'm saying is basically the same thing. It's just get rid of the percent sign, put it over 100. So you just kind of saved yourself a little step there. And then reduce the fraction. So in this case, 56% is 56 over 100. And then reducing that, dividing top and bottom by 4, we get 14 over 25. So here's another one. 125% is 125 over 100. When you reduce that, you get 5 over 4, which is 1 1/4. So anytime your percent is more than 100, or 100 or more, I should say, it's going your fraction or your number is going to be more than 1. So a whole number plus some. Here's another example. We have 0.4%. So again, we put it over 100. So notice they went and changed 0.4 to a fraction, and then they multiplied it by the fraction 1 over 100. You can just do 0.4 over 100 and then reduce, and you'll get the same answers. So these are just some examples of how do we determine whether or not the percent is more than one whole. So 1.92% is 1.92 over 100. 19.2 is 19.2 over 100. 192 is 192 over 100. So that one is the only one that is going to be more than one whole. The next thing is, how do you change percents to decimals? So when we're changing percents to decimals, we're multiplying it by 0.01 or dividing by 100. So it's the same as moving the decimal point 2 places to the left. So here's an example. 31% is going to be 0.31. We just move the decimal 2 places to the left. 6.5%, notice the decimal point is in between, so we're going to move it 2 to the left. We have to add a 0, so it's 0.065. 428, remember, if you don't see a decimal point, it's always at the end. So that's like 428 and then a decimal point. So we're moving it 2 to the left, which is going to give you 4.28%. So those are some of the key topics in converting back and forth between fractions and decimals. You're going to use that information then to solve problems. Now the first thing they're going to show you is how to use them to solve with a proportion. So using the proportion to solve a problem. And honestly, I find that that's their explanation of that topic to be a little bit convoluted, a little bit confusing for some folks. So if I were you, I would focus on the section on using the equation, because using an equation to solve the problem is, I think, a lot more straightforward, because you're just changing and putting things from words into an expression and solving it. So let me find you an example of the percent equation. So here's the first example of a percent equation. So the question says, what is 30% of 60? So each of these pieces represents something. The what is your missing piece, so X. So what is X? Is means equals. 30% is just 30%. Of means times, and then the 60 is the 60. So you have X equals 30% times 60. And in order to do this in your calculator, you're going to want to always change your percents to decimals. So we do that by moving it 2 places to the left. So 0.30. So now we just have an equation to solve. 0.30 times 60. So the answer is 18. So 18 is 30% of 60. I really think that the equation method is a lot easier than the proportion method. So as you're going through, if you're struggling a little bit with the proportion method, go ahead and move on to the equation method. I think you might find that to be a little more helpful for you. And if at any time during this week you have questions or problems, please make sure you reach out to me. You may call, text, or email anytime. And have a great week.